how to improve your falsetto voice. Let's begin. You see, a lot of the times, we want a nice falsetto voice. Maybe because we sing R&B and we hear that a lot of R&B singers, you know, like Giveon maybe. I love that guy. I like his songs. Heartbreak Anniversary. So for Giveon, he has a nice falsetto even though he has a low voice to begin with. And you hear a lot of other singers. For example, one of my favorite R&B singer is actually Pink Sweat, who fucking love that guy. Like his songs are just so good, right? And his singing is top notch as well. I love his technique and his high placement. So they have beautiful high falsetto voice. And even if I just into pop songs, Shawn Mendes, Justin Bieber, Bruno Mars, Ariana Grande, Jessie J, Sam Smith, they all have very good falsetto voice. And falsetto is important when it comes to singing, right? You hear all those singers using falsetto voice, and it adds an extra layer, if that makes sense. It adds an extra layer to their voice and it brings out more emotions when you're singing falsetto sometimes. True? And that is why we want to be able to master our falsetto. If you're watching this video, I'm just going to do a postulation. There's a good chance that you might be a beginner, because most people, especially advanced singers who have already accessed their high placement, they know that they have a good falsetto, they have a good head voice. In fact, I want to differentiate today between the idea of a controlled falsetto and just a normal falsetto, because the truth is this. We have all heard things like, oh, falsetto is bad and we don't want to use falsetto. Is it really true? Fuck no. Nope. Falsetto is important. If else, tell me why do all those great singers, they use falsetto? Why? Because those singers, they're using what I call a controlled falsetto. They're not just using like a amateur, beginner-ish falsetto. What do I mean? You see, all those great singers, when they sing their falsetto, it is very well controlled. Their falsetto comes from a place of control. When they keep their falsetto in the high placement, they have so much control over their falsetto. So they can make it soft if they want to. They can make it loud if they want to. It's up to them. So easy for them. And it is controlled. That means the pitch itself is also controlled. Because a lot of us, right, we have this idea that, oh, it is easy for us to go so-called off-pitch when we are singing falsetto. If you face that problem, it's a good chance that you haven't accessed your high, complete mixed voice vocal placement and you are still singing your falsetto in your low placement, which makes it very hard to control it. But once you're able to switch into a high placement and you train your falsetto in that high placement, then your falsetto will come from a place of strength, a place of control, and that's how you get beautiful falsetto that R&B singers like Giveon, like Pink Sweat, or pop singers like Shawn Mendes, Bruno Mars, Sam Smith, Ariana Grande, Jessie J, those singers have. Does that make sense? So the first key is to start switching to a high placement to sing your falsetto instead of singing your falsetto in a low placement. And how do we know if we are using a low placement or a high placement? Actually, it's very simple. The key is this. Do you ever realize that a falsetto is easy to sing when it's up high? Maybe here. The falsetto is easy to sing there. But you realize that the true problem with your falsetto is when you try to sing a lower falsetto note. Right? Like, sometimes in songs, we have songs that allows the falsetto to go quite low into our vocal range. Maybe somewhere around here. Try singing a falsetto here and see if it's difficult for you. Of course, as you feel going higher, it's easier. But you realize that you can't bring your falsetto lower. The lower you go, the weaker your falsetto becomes. That is something that we have to solve. And that is what I talk about extensively in my complete mixed voice 1.0 online singing course in stage 1, where we make use of our head voice training. Because the truth is, the moment you have a strong head voice, your falsetto will naturally be controlled. Naturally. It's as simple as that. So chances are, if you find doing this, if that's hard for you, you feel like going feels easier for you, then there's a good chance that you haven't accessed your high placement. Then the moment you access your high placement, you are going to be able to sing falsetto notes even in your lower part of your high notes range. Does that make sense? And we see that happening a lot in a lot of the different songs. Now, the second thing that we have to understand for falsetto is this. Once we find a high placement, the next goal is reps and consistency. If there's anything in singing that we need more reps and more consistency in training, it is your falsetto or your head voice. Okay? Why do I say so? Because I remember back then in 2017 when I first began learning how to sing. Of course, I was kinda obsessed with falsetto because I remember my vocal coach, he just taught me, my first ever vocal coach. When I learned from him, he told me, oh, train your chest voice. Oh, day in, day out, every week when I go for lessons. Train your chest voice. Oh, your chest voice 2 weeks, train your chest voice. And then afterwards, I had this addiction to chest voice. But that's also bad because have you ever sang those kind of songs where you have to switch between chest voice and falsetto or head voice, and then you have to keep switching between? Example, Sucker by Jonas Brothers. Or Lost in Japan by Shawn Mendes. Let's get lost tonight, baby, you and I can't seem to get you off my mind. Do you ever feel that your falsetto voice is too weak and your chest voice is too strong? So when you switch between them, oh, it's so disgusting because it feels like it's two different voices. It's not connected, it's just so disgusting. I don't know about you, but that's honestly how I felt. I felt like my voice is just so disgusting. Like, I couldn't find a good balance. The transition wasn't smooth. Like, I hated it. I absolutely hated it. Afterwards, long story short, I found a secret. The secret is this. Especially if you're a guy watching this. If you're good at applies as well, especially if you have trained your chest voice for quite a while, stop fucking training your chest voice. Forget about your chest voice and start spending all your time training your head voice. Okay? Or your falsetto, whatever you want to call it. Train your light compression. For those of you who have been following my work, train your light compression. Okay? Because what we don't realize is this light compression is, first of all, two reasons. Number one, it helps us lighten our chest voice. A lot of times our chest voice, it sounds very heavy, right? What do I mean? Low placement. Well, if I talk like this, you can hear that my chest voice is very heavy now, right? Or I can talk normally like this. Immediately you can hear a difference in the placement. One is a much heavier placement, right? So when you keep training your chest voice, you as a beginner especially, you tend to fall into this tendency and this trap of training too much chest voice. As a result, you forget about falsetto. But the goal is this: forget about chest voice, because most of us, we have a decent chest voice, but we don't have a good falsetto and we don't have a good head voice to begin with. Okay, and chances are you are watching this video because you want to improve your falsetto voice. Isn't that a case here? And if you want to do it, it's very simple. Reps and consistency. You have to keep rocking that. That's the hard work. Day in, day out. Day in, day out. That is my secret to having a better falsetto voice. Because when I first began, I had no falsetto. My falsetto was so weak and I can't even use it in a song. Like, I don't even want to exaggerate here, but this is the truth here. For example, if I want to sing Lost in Japan by Shawn Mendes. So there's this line in Lost in Japan. I can't seem to get you off my mind. So this line, when I first began, I couldn't sing like this. I was singing more like, I can't seem to get you off my mind. Can you hear the big contrast? And that's so disgusting. That is what I mean before by disgusting. But instead, if you keep training that head voice, keep training that falsetto, I can't seem to get you off my mind. See how much control there is. Okay, and I think a lot of the times we also face this problem that maybe we sing for a while. Like, this is the problem that I remember I faced last time as well, which is your falsetto works fine when you just started off your singing session, right? Maybe for your first song, you're like, oh, I can't seem to get you off my mind. You're like, no problem. But maybe by your 5th song, 6th song, your 10th song, you realize your falsetto becomes weaker, and then you sing something like, I can't seem to get you off my mind. You know what I mean, right? What is actually happening is this. Initially, it feels easy because you are singing your falsetto in your high hit voice placement. But over time, what happens is this. Because of so much chest voice that you're singing in the song as well, you get more comfortable singing in your low placement. And as a result, later on, even when you want to access the high placement, you cannot access the high placement anymore because you are already desensitized to the feeling of this low placement. And guess what? You start singing your falsetto here as well. And that's where you get things like, I can't seem to get you off my mind. No. Keep it there. I can't seem to get you off my mind. I can't seem to get you off my mind. I can't seem to get you off my mind. Different key, doesn't matter. As long as you keep that falsetto high up there, the transition will be very smooth. Okay, today I'm talking about something new again, right? Because normally I'm always focusing on more of a mixed voice coordination. You have been hearing my examples and everything. I'm like trying to teach you how to belt, how to keep in your mixed voice, how to access your high placement. But I realized I haven't really been focusing on falsetto. So today I decided to film a video talking more about falsetto. Okay, so 2 keys. Number 1, find the high placement. Number 2, tons and tons of repetitions so that high placement becomes a new memory for yourself. Okay, and then once you keep that high placement in your long-term memory, your falsetto will be controlled and much more stable. Does that make sense? And look, if you want to know exactly how you can master and perfect your falsetto, your head voice, whatever you want to call it, go ahead, get my complete mixed voice 1.0 online singing course. And in stages 1, I go really in depth into how do we build a strong head voice. And in stage 2, I actually go in depth into how do we so-called switch between that head voice and that low mixed voice. Okay? And of course, I also teach you how to find a high placement so that once you combine all these 3 things together, you will have beautiful falsetto and head voice notes like Giveon, Pink Sweat, Whitney Houston, Ariana Grande, Shawn Mendes, Bruno Mars, Sam Smith, Jungkook, Harry Styles, Ed Sheeran, Niall Horan, Louis Capaldi, James Arthur. Beautiful falsetto voices in all these great singers. Alright? I hope you took away some value. Now you understand exactly how you should train your falsetto. And look, I don't have any vocal exercises here because really a lot of, you can just go online and find vocal exercise on other YouTube channels. There's plenty of them. My goal here is to deliver knowledge, is to deliver the how, the execution, and not give you a bunch of random vocal exercises that is, you know, just everywhere on YouTube. I'm really just trying to explain the things that people don't explain on YouTube. That is what makes this video special, right? That is what makes you want to watch these kind of videos, right? I don't compete with other people on vocal exercises. In fact, I compliment them. Go ahead and use their vocal exercises. It is likely going to work for you as long as you have this high placement. Okay, so if you want to access it, get the course. It's in the link below. Or if you don't, doesn't matter. Just watch my other videos. They'll probably help you out as well with your singing. And I'll catch you in my next video.